Hey everyone, my name is Utkarsh Sharma and I'm a psychology mentor at Study Capital. As I've promised, I'll bring Soumya for you people. So here is Soumya, 295 out of 300 scorer for 2024 CUET examinations. Welcome Soumya, how are you?
Thank you so much, sir. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me here.
Alright. So let's start with your introduction.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Soumya Verma. And as sir mentioned, my CUET score was 295 out of 300. I am pursuing my master's in psychology from Delhi University, and I did my bachelor's in psychology itself from Lady Shri Ram College for Women. So, like, I've been studying psychology for almost 5.5 years now.
So like what was the reason why you choose psychology?
So, for master's or in general?
In general as subject.
So back when in 11th, our college was, school was offering the options. So psychology was being provided an option with economics. So I
Okay.
did not wanted to opt for economics. So primarily I chose for psychology because when you hear the word psychology, the very first thing that strikes your mind is it's something to do about your mind, about how you function, how humans function. So
Right.
I think I've been a very emotionally oriented person. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I chose psychology. And then I got very intrigued with the topics and the subject matter that it has. So, it combines science and social science together. You get to study the neuropsychology of mind, you get to study the emotional aspects of mind and everything. So that kept me stuck to psychology.
Alright. So how's your college life like right now?
Going great. We've just finished with our first semester. Our last exam was on 20th. So yeah, done with first semester and it's going great.
Okay. I'll come to the examination parts also in the what happened, what's happening in the due. So my first question will be like, when did you started preparing? When did you thought of okay, this is the time I should be serious for the preparation?
So to be honest, I was not planning to sit for masters itself. I had some other plans. So CUET was not in my mind since the very start. I think it was somewhere around September in 2023 that NTA had released its notification, and everybody in my class they started discussing about CUET and everything. So I got exposed to it. So I discussed it with my parents also that should I be applying for it because I have some other plans. So they said it's no harm in sitting for an
Hmm.
exam anyway. If you change your mind, you can always have an option. So that's when I decided that okay, I'll sit for CUET, and it was pretty much November by that time. So I did not have much time in hand. So I read through the brochure of last year for CUET, and I decided that now okay, I'll give the exam.
Okay. All right. So first question, very important question. Like, how did you come across like the Study Capital platform? Were you searching about it? किसी से सुना, किसी ने recommend किया? What was the story?
Sir, I think I came across when I was searching for resources. So
Okay.
because I was not aware about the structure of CUET and everything, so like very obviously I was searching about it on internet, and that's when I came across Study Capital on YouTube. I think there are a lot of demo lectures that you have posted on YouTube. So that's when I came across Study Capital, and I researched about a lot of sites and educational institutes that are offering courses on psychology. So I almost watched video of all of them. So Study Capital Kabi I got to know from there only, and then I watched your demo lectures. I really liked them. I resonated with your teaching style, and that's when I decided that I'll be going ahead with this platform only.
All right. So as you know, strategy is like the most important thing while you're preparing for any examination. So on this strategy section, I'll be like asking you three questions. So first question is, what was your like initial strategy? How did you start it?
Okay. So when I bought the course, it was in December, but straight after that we had our semester exams. So probably it was just 5 or 10 days in between, so I could not study from December itself. So I properly started my preparation from January. So January till March, and we had our exam on 20th March. So I strategized, I planned everything that I have 2.5 months in my hand,
Hmm.
and that's how I have to approach for it. Now, since I was a psychology student, so concepts were not new to me. We have topics like intelligence, learning, memory, statistics, lifespan development, and also I was aware about these topics. So I was confident about the fact that I know them. I just need to brush my concepts. I need to revise them. So I also search for references since there was not much time, so I could not go through multiple books. So that's when I came across this book set by Power Within Psychology. They have summed all the concepts in one book, very comprehensive book. So I referred that book only. I did not refer to different NCRTs or different standard books because honestly I did not have time. So I just referred to that book and I referred to your class notes, PPTs, and lectures, and that's much. That's pretty much it. It covered everything for me.
Okay. Now, the second dimension will be what according to you is the importance of the base, as you've said that you were very confident about your basics. So, how will you answer this question that if aspirant is listening to this, so how he or she can go with the basics, how he can clear the basics first?
Sir, I personally believe conceptual clarity is the basic of all because when you even attempt a question, you need to break down the questions into its subcomponents. So, while I was also appearing for CUET, there were many questions, not many, but a few questions wherein I had to break the questions into components and understand what's the basic concept behind that. So conceptual clarity is very important and that you can gain through reading standard books. Definitely start with your NCRTs. But since I was already a psychology student, so probably I had read over NCRT a couple of times. So 11th and 12th ki NCRT is the key. After that, you read basic standard books like Cicerelli or Barron. There are so many good books in the market. Then you can switch on to standard books, like greater advanced level books. So, to clarify your concepts, you should stick to just one book. Like you can refer to Cicerelli. So, the concepts are given very well in Cicerelli. You can understand that, or you can also refer to some YouTube lectures if you're not able to clear the concept. But I would say instead of just mugging up a certain topic, you should be clear and thorough with the concept itself. However, it is, if you're reading it on your own or you're referring to any YouTube lecture, but please be clear with your concepts. That's the key of all.
All right. And how did you go for the revisions? Because revision is very important for the examinations, and when the exam is actually near, you have so much of piled up knowledge. So, how did you went through all of this?
So, as I mentioned, I started in January. So, I had set the target that by the end of February, I have to get done with my syllabus. So, since I was referring just one book, it had the compilation of all the topics, so it was not very difficult. I divided my days and month into this entire book that I have to complete this particular chapter on this particular day, and I have to get done with the first reading at least till the end of the February. Then I decided that in March from 1st to 20th, I'll just be practicing MCQs. I think it was a great advice given by you that before you sit for exam, at least solve 10,000 MCQs because that kind of builds your temper to sit for the exam. And it's very important. Back then, I did not understand how can somebody solve 10,000 MCQs. It's too much. But actually, I would agree and I would reiterate that to everybody that solving MCQs is very important. Firstly, it builds your confidence. Secondly, it builds your temper to sit for the exam. And when you come across the same questions again and again, you know the answer already. It's the mere exposure effect. So I myself solved somewhere around 6-7 thousand MCQs. Not could not reach up to 10,000, but I did solve around 6-7 thousand MCQs. Repeated them. If I did not understand, I went back to the topic, understood it, then reattempted it. So last 15 days I kept reserved for MCQs, and before that I gave a thorough reading to all the concepts from the Power Within book and all the notes and PPTs that you had shared.
All right. So again, scoring a marvelous 295 out of 100, which is actually unbelievable for many of us. So, what was the emotion जब आंसर की निकल के आई तुम कैलकुलेट किए you some you felt कि आ सकते हैं इतने फिर जब एक्चुअली में स्कोर कार्ड आया what was the feeling?
Okay, so it was, I think, very late at night. NTA was, taking a lot of time in releasing the answer key.
Hmm.
So it was in the night only. I was sitting there and I was just calculating, and I started calculating downwards, 75 to 1. So I was calculating all the answers is getting correct, and I was like, "Abhi to aayega ek galat kaise main sab sahi kar sakti hu?" And I just went through, and then one question I got wrong. So this was regarding perceptual set. I discussed it with you. So when I got that wrong, I was like, okay, अब यहाँ से start हो गया है, अब और भी गलत होंगे. But then I realized कि बस एक ही गलत हुआ. So I मतलब पूरा calculate करके, and then I calculated my marks also. It was 295. I could not believe. Definitely I had the confidence that I could get good marks, but actually getting is a surreal feeling. You just don't believe it. So that time I was shaking. I called my parents and I said, "Oh my God, it's 295. I can't believe it." And it was very surreal. So back then, for अचानक से I got very numb. I was like, okay, just to sink in that, ठीक है, finally 295 हो गया. Yes, I'll get DU. So yeah, it was a very great feeling at that time.
तब 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 भी क्या ये टेंशन थी कि फाइनली कोई तो कॉलेज मिल जाएगा अब?
हाँ, definitely,
अच्छा,
definitely.
तब भी वो फीलिंग थी 295 पे भी कोई तो कॉलेज मिल जाएगा एटलीस्ट अब।
कोई तो कॉलेज नहीं, बट मतलब यू ऑलवेज हैव दैट डाउट, तो 295 पे थोड़ा सा ये अश्योरेंस था कि डीयू मिल जाएगा डेफिनेटली. आई हैव
थोड़ा सा।
क्रैक्ड इनफ कि डीयू मिल जाएगा, बट थोड़ा सा एक फियर था कि ये सही है कि नहीं,
हाँ,
क्वेश्चंस आर
एग्जैक्टली।
नॉट बीइंग ड्रॉप्ड, दिस आंसर की इज करेक्ट. सो एट दैट मोमेंट इट वाज अ बिट डिफिकल्ट टू बिलीव, बट व्हेन आई हैड द स्कोर कार्ड इन माय हैंड आई वाज वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट दैट नाउ यस आई कैन गेट इट.
All right. So this is a very important question for you because since you've also studied in DU for UG also. So DU का experience आपके पास था and since you got 295, you can have taken any college in the India. Why only again DU? What was the reason?
Okay, so primarily the reason was that I was very much familiar with the curriculum of DU, and DU in itself is a very good university which is recognized all over India. I've done my bachelor's from LSR, and it is a pretty good college. Everybody, we all know it. So I was expecting that yes, since I've already had a background here in Delhi University, I can very comfortably switch to masters in Delhi University itself. Of course, I could have gone into any other college, but I did not also wanted to shift to a new place altogether, because that's also a cultural stress in itself. So I was very comfortable with Delhi at the first place, comfortable with curriculum of DU. I also knew that we also have a great internship opportunities being offered at DU. There's a great exposure. There's so much extra curricular also to do. So that's why I just stuck to Delhi University itself.
All right. So since you've mentioned this thing, my next question will be how is the internship culture? Like what are the prospects of getting into DU and then going into a internship? Do department actually help in like getting the internships?
Yes, yes. So, as a part of masters, we have to do our internships once we get over with our first year. So that's in the summer break of after your first year and just before your second year starts.
Hmm.
So you have to do an internship of 60 days, and that you can choose from any of the fields that are being offered that year. So now this second semester we'll be choosing our specialization. So abhi
Okay.
tak, as far as I know, there is clinical psychology and organizational psychology being offered. So you can choose to do internship in either these two fields or any field that you like. So you also get a research sorry, you also get an internship supervisor. They provide information regarding opportunities. You can contact seniors, you can contact you have to cold mail definitely. So internship is mandatory for 60 days, and that you can choose according to your own interest in whichever field you want to do. That's not an obligation, but yes, you have to do it. That's compulsory for everyone.
All right. So my
Yes.
next question will be like, does DU provides hostel? And if not, and if yes, then if someone who is coming from the middle class family, what will be the like average monthly cost if he needs to study in DU and to live outside the campus?
Sir, I would say that living in a paying guest or living in a flat or even a shared accommodation is expensive. So, Delhi University does provide hostels. So, for psychology, there are four colleges: Daulat Ram College, Zakir Hussain,
Hmm.
Indraprasth College, and directly the Department of Psychology. So, as far as I know, DRC and IPCW do offer hostels. So, they have
Okay.
their own hostels as well, and other than that, there are two hostels for women, particularly University Hostel for Women, in which I have taken admission, and the other one is Meghdoot Hostel. So
Okay.
here you can apply even if you are in any of the departments. It's across departments. So
Okay.
UHW is single sharing, and Meghdoot is double sharing. For first year and
Okay.
second year, you get a single occupancy. So I would say that getting admission into hostel is a very dicey thing, because there's a lot of competition. Firstly, I think I'm the only one from my batch to get the admission here in the hostel, and there are so many applicants, and we just have 296 seats in UHW because it's a single occupancy. So the
Hmm.
competition is cutthroat. They select you on the basis of your marks first of all, and then they also take an interview. On the basis of that, they select you. So that's how the procedure works both for UHW and Meghdoot Hostel. One thing I would also like to clarify, that we feel that straight after we'll get our admission, we'll get the hostels. It's not so. So I got my admission in August and got my hostel in October. So for these 2 months, I had to stay back in South Campus because I did my graduation from LSR, so I was staying in a PG there. So I had to commute from there to North Campus, and it was like very difficult for me to commute for like 45 minutes daily. It was getting very hectic. So you do not get hostel straight away. You have to take a PG or an accommodation in the meantime. PGs may you have many options available. There are so many places like Kamla Nagar, Vijayanagar, Old Gupta Colony, so many places for PGs, and varying on the basis of facilities. There are triple sharing, double sharing, single sharing. But yes, PGs are expensive as compared to hostels. So for my hostel, for a quarter fee, it's 25,000. For the first quarter, we paid 25,000, which included annual fees and which also included our monthly fees and everything. Quarterly, we pay around 4,350 something, and then there is mess fee, which is somewhere around 3,000 each month. So that's how we pay for it. So it's very much convenient and cheaper as compared to paying guests, I would say. But yes, the competition is very high because only few people get selected. So that you can never be really sure of. Even I was not sure myself that I will get it or not. So competition is high, but yes, hostels are cheaper as compared to paying guests.
All right. So, do they also consider the distance of your like hometown to get the hostel?
Yes, they do consider
Okay,
that.
okay.
So Delhi NCR people definitely cannot get it. You have to be, if you're in the radius of 70 kilometers from Delhi
Okay,
NCR,
okay.
you cannot get the hostel. Other than that, if there are two applicants, for instance, somebody from Uttar Pradesh and somebody from Kerala, they will definitely give preference to the
Hmm.
girl who is from Kerala. So that is also being considered. But also they take your interviews, they consider your CUT
Okay.
scores, and on an accumulative basis, they give the
So,
seats.
what they ask in general in the interviews?
Very generic interview about your educational background, about your family background. Why did you choose to apply for hostel? Then, if you would create a nuisance or not. Like, are you into protests and all? So yeah, that very basic kind of interview.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, regarding DU administration or the faculty administration, how is the professor culture there and how they communicate with the students, and is attendance a very compulsory thing?
Yes, attendance is a very compulsory thing. So 75% attendance is must, and we are being reminded about our attendance every class. And even they also put the not posters exactly, but your attendance on the notice board. So
Okay.
you can check, and if it is going less, you can cover it up in the subsequent months.
Hmm.
So attendance is strict. You have to have 75% attendance. Then regarding professors, they are great, but they do not spoon feed. So master's level pay, they expect you to be on your own.
Exactly.
They
Hmm.
expect you to manage everything. They expect that you are well versed with the field. So
Hmm.
they are very open in conversation. You can reach out to them if you face
Okay.
any difficulty, but mostly you have to manage things on your own. But I
Okay.
think there's one thing which is good, that for with every professor there is one or two research scholars in the department. So if you have any problem regarding academics or regarding even settlement in Delhi University, you
Hmm.
can reach out to even the research scholars, and they do provide help. So
Okay.
the department is pretty much communicative in that sense.
All right. And how is the dissertation culture? What are the things student must take in account to get a dissertation?
Right now, we're not informed much about it, but as
Okay.
far as I know, it's compulsory for everyone,
Okay.
and we get to start on it from our second year in
Second
third
year.
semester. So we
Hmm.
have to present a proposal to our professors, and based on the interest area and the faculty available, our supervisors are allocated, and then we can work on our dissertation, and we have the entire 1 year to complete it,
All
and it's
right.
compulsory for everyone. So brochure may it's written that it's only for 25% top students, but no, it's compulsory for everyone to do their dissertation in masters.
Alright, I think DU के लिए हमने काफी कुछ कवर कर लिया है. So coming back again to the CVT preparation because DU से पहले CVT आएगा. So
Yeah.
what was your last day strategy in like last के एक week में 3-4 दिन में क्या कर रहे थे आप?
Sir, I solved MCQs. I used to solve like 4 5 papers at least daily, and I started on 1st of March. So the first score that I got was 212 out of 300. So I realized that okay, it's pretty much good, and if I work upon it, I'll be able to get higher scores. Then once I get 155 out of 300, I got very sad. I was like, how come I can get 155? I was getting 200 in the start. So that was, I think, one day I got 155. But then I realized that the topics from which the questions were asked, they were not known to me. So I then got back to the topic, I read them, and then I was able to solve it. So last 15 days में I was pretty sure that I'll only solve MCQs, because आप कितना भी पढ़ लो वो कम ही लगेगा. So concepts के लिए आप you can never be sure, but as you had suggested that if you will solve MCQs you will be confident. So I think solving MCQs made me more confident, and that was my strategy for like last 15 days. So I just
All
solved
right. And
MCQs.
anything special you did on the CVT eve, like just before the CVT exam day?
I did not, sir. I just ate good food. I'm a big time foodie. So just ate good food, and then I got up early in the morning, saw the sunrise, felt very positive. And yeah, that's it. Our shift was 4:30 to 6 p.m. So I just
Hmm.
got ready, ate good food, was very relaxed. I talked to my parents. I was not getting anxious. I was not getting stressed about the results. I was not thinking about the score. I was in the mindset that just give it. Let's give it and let's see what happens. So I was very relaxed and calm on the day of exam.
Regarding your anxiety, how did you manage your anxiety during the exam hall?
Yeah. Okay, so I was not very anxious. I was pretty okay, pretty positive, and I was little nervous regarding the fact that it was the very first time I was giving any national exam. But I think the staff was very accommodative, and they explained everything really nicely. So it was not very difficult to navigate. And of course, you can also read through the brochure of NTA. They have given all the details over there. So if you're really anxious about it, you can go through the brochure once before you sit for the exam.
All right. So my last two questions will be, the first question is, what are the top three things which you learned during my batch? And second question is, what were the top three suggestions you will give to the upcoming students who are preparing for the CVT examinations?
Okay. So, sir, I had chosen you because I really resonated with your teaching style. I had seen your demo lectures.
Okay.
So, I really liked the fact that you were very punctual. You were always on time. Like, we used to start our class maximum by 7:05, 7:08 ish. So, you were very regular. Secondly, you took the doubts of everyone. So, chats maybe used to address the doubts, and even if somebody is raising their hands, you used to address. So doubt clearance helped everybody a lot. Sometimes even I had the similar doubt, and people used to ask it when it used to help me. So doubt clearance was a very great thing about your lectures, and also the interactive sessions. You used to share personal examples, and the students also discussed their own insights and examples. So that was, I think, very helpful. So it was very it was kind of a facilitation. It was not very student teacher kind of a thing. So we used to be very comfortable, very informal around you. We used to feel very safe. Even stupid of the stupidest doubts we used to ask. So I think that was a very inclusive and wholesome environment of your lectures. Secondly, the PPTs were really short and crisp. So I am myself a person who would like to read everything just to be sure that I've not left anything. But क्योंकि time इतना कम था, I needed somebody who would just make it short and who would tell me just to read the important things. So that I got from you. That reading the most important things. So class maybe from your lectures also, I just used to make notes of the important key points. I did not copy pasted the entire book or entire PPT, but just highlighted the important points or anything important that you are mentioning. So that I think helped me a lot to navigate through. And regarding the next question about three things that I would suggest, I think first is conceptual clarity. So all of you should be clear with the concepts. That's very important. Second thing I would say is consistency. You should be very consistent. Like I made it a point, I rarely missed your classes. So I used to attend your live lectures daily at 7 p.m. I made it a point wherever I am, I would come back, I would attend the classes because it builds consistency, it builds discipline. So I was very consistent in attending classes. And third thing I would say is practice as many PYQPs as possible, because that's the only thing that will make you sail through this exam. You will get confident, you'll get acquainted with the pattern of the exam. So practicing previous year question papers is very important. But also at the same time, sometimes you get bummer questions. You get sad. Oh my god, I'm not able to solve them. So like I got 155. I was getting 200s and then I got 155 at random. So I would also suggest that don't get disheartened when you get such scores. Just see and understand why you got such less scores. Was it because you were not studying well, or was it because you did not know the concept? So I think one of the habits that I would like to mention is that whenever I used to solve MCQs, I would write how many questions I got correct, how many questions I got wrong, and how many questions I didn't know. I used to write 18 questions not known. So it's not my fault that I didn't know them. My task is to know about them and learn the concept.
Hmm.
So I think that helped me a lot. I used to keep a track Excel sheet में कि subsequently मेरे टेस्ट में कितना marks increase या decrease हो रहे हैं. So that is one thing that everybody can do. They can write when they solve previous year question papers, how much of it they got correct, how much wrong, and how much they did not know. And if there
Hmm.
is any topic that you don't know, don't worry about it. Just Google it or write anything. Just you mentioned us in one of the classes. Just write psychology in front of that topic. You'll get enough information. So
Right.
that's a very simple technique that everybody can follow. So yeah,
All right. Thank you so much, Soumya. Is there anything left you want to add on to something?
I would just say that please be positive, be relaxed, don't worry about it much, and don't think about the outcomes. I think when I look back, I think I was very relaxed because I did not care about the outcome. Because as I mentioned, sure ही नहीं था that masters करना है या नहीं करना है. So I just wanted to give the exam just to check कि कुछ आता भी है. इतने सालों से psychology पढ़ रही हूँ since 11th. Do I even know anything? So I gave exam just to check my knowledge, my standing. So give exam in a very light-hearted manner. Do not take it on your life that this is the end of all. So if you're relaxed, if you're having fun, having conversation with your friends and family, you will be able to get through it. That's only I think I would advise everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, Soumya, for sharing your important insights. And once again, congratulations for your score 295. And again, I'm always available for any kind of help related to psychology. And also, people who are watching right now, if you want to start your preparation, it is never late. मेरा again ये third topper जनवरी में उन्होंने start किया. I don't know मेरा जितने भी सारे 6 महीने वो सब late की ही preparation शुरू करते हैं इतना. But again, you can understand it is never late. जो लोग अगस्त से prepare कर रहे हैं और जो लोग even Feb से भी start कर रहे हैं, it is never late. So you can download this free capital app. You can join my course and see you soon in the class. Once again, thank you, Soumya.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All right.
All right.